All right, guys. I hope you're having a good Tuesday. One more day of refreshing on our operations for polynomials. So today we're going to look at multiplying and dividing polynomials. Okay, so let's get started on some multiplying. We're going to look first at number 7. Okay, so we're going to remember that when we have a binomial times a binomial, that we're going to distribute each term in the binomial. So I have to distribute the 2x and then distribute the 3. Okay, so 2x times x is 2x squared. And then 2x times 1 is 2x. Okay, I'm done distributing the 2x, so I'm going to move on to the 3. 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, and then I'm going to check to make sure that I don't have any like terms. In this case, I do. I have a 2x and a 3x that can be combined. So my final answer is 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, hopefully you remember that. So that's kind of a simple one. And then we're going to go down to the bottom and look at number 23 and do a little bit more challenging one. Okay, so number 23 is a binomial times a trinomial. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to distribute my 2h and then distribute my 3. Okay, I'm not going to draw my lines on this one because I don't want it to get as jumbled, but I will point to what I'm multiplying. So I'm going to start with the 2h times 2h squared. That's going to give me 4h to the third power. Okay, then I'm going to do 2h times 3h. That's going to give me 6h squared. And then 2h times 4 would be plus 8h. Okay, so I've distributed the 2h and I have 3 new terms. Okay, now I'm going to move on to distributing the 3. 3 times 2h is going to be plus 6h squared. 3 times 3h is going to be plus 9h. And then 3 times 4 is going to be plus 12. Okay, so I'm left with 6 terms. And now I need to combine like terms. So I see I have a 6h squared and another 6h squared, so I'm going to put my 4h cubed down because I want to keep this in standard form. So I want to start with the highest exponent and then work my way down. So now I see squared, 6x squared plus 6x squared is 12. Oh, not x. Sorry, guys. H. 12h squared. Sorry about that. And then I see 8h and 9h. So that's going to be plus 17h. And then I only have one constant. It's 12. So I'm going to do plus 12. So this is my final answer. 4h cubed plus 12h squared plus 17h plus 12. Okay? Then we're going to flip to the back and remind ourselves how the division works. Okay? So we're going to start by remembering the quotient rule, that when I'm dividing with exponents, I'm actually going to subtract the exponents. So put your little reminder up there, okay? And then we're going to look at number 1 to start. Okay, in number 1, I just have a monomial divided by a monomial. This is review, okay? And so we had done this before this unit. So I'm going to divide my coefficients. 36 divided by 4 is 9. And then I'm going to subtract my exponents because this is the same variable. So x to the 5th divided by x to the 3rd. 5 minus 3 would be x squared. And then that would be my final answer. Okay? On this side of the page, I do not want to, like in this next one, 3 minus 7 is going to leave you with negative 4, and so it's going to be on the bottom. I do not want to deal with negative exponents on this particular page because when we're dividing a binomial or a trinomial, it starts to get into stuff that I have not taught you yet. And so I want you to cross out number 2. I want you to cross out number 7 because that's going to be the case in that one. And then 18 and 19. So cross out 2, 7, 18, and 19. And then the rest of these will be all ones that work out nicely. Okay, so let's look at number 11 and go to a little bit more difficult ones. This is a binomial divided by a negative monomial. Okay, so again, we're just going to take our monomial and divide it by each term. Okay, divide each term by our monomial. I'm sorry. So 6 divided by negative 2 is going to be negative 3. And then I have a squared divided by a, so I'm going to subtract the exponents. 2 minus 1 is just a to the first, which I can just write as negative 3a. And then b to the first divided by b to the first cancels, so I don't have anything else in that term. But then I have to divide my next term by negative 2ab. So in my next term I have negative 12 divided by negative 2. 2 negatives makes a positive, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I'm going to have plus 6. A to the first divided by a to the first cancels. But b squared divided by b, when I subtract the 2 minus the 1 that would be right there, I get a b. So it should be negative 3a minus, negative 3a plus 6b for your final answer on that one. Okay, and then we're going to look at one that, when we get down to the bottom, looks even trickier. Okay, so we're going to look at number 20. Number 20 looks kind of like a jumbled mess, but what we want to do is look for plus signs, or addition and subtraction signs. And so I see there's an addition sign here, so that means I have two terms, a binomial as my numerator, and then still a monomial. I'm just going to have a lot of subtracting exponents to do on this one, okay? But my process is still the same. So I'm going to divide my coefficients. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And then I'm going to worry about each variable individually. So x to the 5th divided by x squared. When I subtract 5 minus 2, that's 3, so it's x to the 3rd power, or x cubed. Y to the 4th divided by y squared. 4 minus 2 is 2, so I get y squared. And then z to the 3rd divided by z squared. 3 minus 2 is 1, so I just have a z. So that's the first term. Then I'm going to divide my second term by 4x squared, y squared, z squared. Okay, so my second term, I'm going to divide the coefficients. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, so I'm going to do plus 2. And then x to the 4th divided by x squared, I'm going to subtract, so I get x squared. I'm going to subtract the exponents for y. Y cubed divided by y squared is going to be y. And then z squared divided by z squared, that cancels. It gets you z to the 0 power, and anything to the 0 power is 1. And multiplying the second term by 1 would not change it. So I do not need to put the 1 there. Okay, so that is your final answer on that one. Okay, guys, work really hard today to complete this. I want it turned in at the end of the hour. Okay, make sure you're good for the sub, respectful, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.